Previously on Through the Portlight. We just pulled the holding tank out of our Westsail 32. So we ended up going to the Wooden Boat Festival and getting an airhead. We drilled a hole in our deck for the solar vent.
Oh!
Do you think I tripped the breaker?
I don't know.
Or the plug just came out?
Oh, that's what it was.
Or the motor.
So, we did burn out the drill.
The solar vent was fairly easy to install. After the hole was made, we epoxied the inside of the hole so that no water will go between the cord deck.
It's pretty low profile, so it's not a tripping hazard or it's not really obtrusive or anything.
So we could go down below and show you the installation of the exhaust vent for the airhead. So this is the inside of the head. This is showing below the solar vent. This is where the exhaust hose comes from the airhead up into the deck head. And there's a gasket that comes with the airhead. Here. Inside this fan shroud, there's an electric fan, 12 volt. And then right above it is the solar vent. So there's two sources of power. There's the solar fan and the electrical fan.
When we contacted Jeff, we had the option of getting a right angle fan shroud or a straight down shroud, and we opted on the right angle so we could run the hose neatly along the bulkhead.
This is what we use for our airhead. It's made out of coconut husks, 100% organic. And it expands up to 8 times, it says here. So this is how we prepare it. So now we're going to add some water. So we've filled it 3/4 of the way up the height of the brick, and we're going to let that absorb and expand and see if we need to add more water or not. We get this stuff at gardening stores or hardware stores. You could find it pretty easily. It's only $2 or $3 anyway. So now we're going to start breaking it apart. You could also use peat moss, but we find this is a little less messy and nicer to work with. You want the consistency of this to be more dry than wet, kind of like this kind of earthy soil type of consistency. And you just mix it up, mix it around so that any moisture at the bottom gets absorbed. And that's how to prepare the cocoa brick for the airhead toilet. So now I'm going to remove the liquids tank. There's the liquids tank out of the way. And now on the bottom of the airhead there are 2 L brackets, one on each side, with some screws that come off. Now one thing to remember is the vent hose back here has to be unscrewed, and this is a reverse thread, so usually this would be tightening, but this is actually loosening. There we go.
So now that the liquids tank is removed and capped off, and the hose has been unscrewed from the unit, and it's been unscrewed from the deck, we can pick it up and take it outside to be emptied.
All right, and in order to remove the top part from the solids tank, there are 4 of these little screws that you just turn slightly. So after loosening these, I just gave this a small slight turn, and now this is ready to be lifted up.
So as you can see, that's the inside of our solids tank. There's remnants of cocoa husk fiber, and that's actually what you want. You don't want to remove it completely because there's still beneficial enzymes and bacteria that's at work composting what you put in there. So it's actually advised to leave whatever cocoa husk fibers stay in the bottom. And it is relatively clean. It actually looks identical to this fresh stuff over here, which is what we're going to be putting in. And I was going to mention before the shape of the agitator and how it does a good job sort of churning up the matter and airing it out. So that's the action that goes on inside the solids tank.
This is quote-unquote flushing.
That's right.
If you're going to do this on your decks or in your cockpit like we do, we recommend doing it before you wash your decks.
And preferably when the neighbors are away.
That's right. Unless you don't like your neighbors. And that's it. Just give it a wipe down and you're good to go. So the basics of the airhead is you have a sealed lid, keeps odor away, and you have a toilet seat. You could also get the airhead in a more of a household version, which is a larger seat, but then it takes up more space in your head. Yeah. This also has a rubber seal. This is the bowl of the airhead. The 2 holes up front are liquid holes where liquids go down. This is designed so that any liquids that go in here also are funneled that way down and it drops into the liquids tank. When we use this for number 2s, we're supposed to use a coffee filter, a large coffee filter, which takes up this whole space right here. And when you're done your business, all the liquids will have traveled to the liquids tank. Your solids will be in the coffee filter. And when you're done, you close the lid and you just open the trap door like this, and it'll fall straight into the solids tank where the agitator is. It'll just fall in with the filter and all. Close it, give it an agitate, and that's it. Today we're going to talk about the airhead and what we like about it.
And the little quirks and things that take a little bit of getting used to.
We've lived with the airhead for over a year now. Mm-hmm. And
spent some good quality time with the airhead.
And we really like it. We wouldn't want to go back to a holding tank at all.
Overall, our impression with it is very positive. We're so glad that we did choose the airhead. No, we're not getting paid to say this.
No.
We have no deal.
Can we do that?
I don't know. But yeah, overall a really good experience. But as I said, there's little things that we that took some working out. Mm-hmm. So if you're thinking about an airhead, I suggest go for it. But just know that there's going to be a learning curve, just like anything. Mm-hmm. And also just like anything, it also takes maintenance.
There's a little work involved.
There's a little bit of work involved, just like everything. So
yeah, one of the things that I find that we like to change on the airhead is the Allen key little bolts that come with it, and they have a little plastic wing nut cover that goes on top of the Allen key bolts. I like to change that design. Maybe just add some wing nuts or wing nut bolts. Yeah,
but like actual steel ones.
Stainless steel.
Some stainless steel ones, because they're just little plastic guys, and they sit on top of this
the
slightly
bolt.
threaded sort of.
It's a threaded bolt with the Allen key head, and the plastic has the Allen key impression that sits on it, and it has the wing nuts. But we find that if you tighten it, maybe it's because we're tightening it too much. Yeah. But that's just one little thing, the hardware that we could change, which won't
they tend to pop off sometimes, so we might replace those.
Won't be a big deal to replace those at all.
No. Another thing, we'll definitely be looking into ordering another pea holding tank.
Yeah, the liquid tank is.
When you are a full-time liveaboard, and if you don't use the marina facilities during the day, if you're on board and you don't feel like going out, with 2 people it will fill up fairly quickly.
But about 2 days maximum with 2 people.
2 days max. Yeah.
Depends how much water you drink, or beer.
How much liquid?
Yes.
Yeah.
We have noticed on several occasions that there are some tiny flies that appear after a while, and we want to get some
diatomaceous earth.
Yes.
And it will kill them off. I don't know where they come from though, because there is in the solar vent, it's all screened off. There's a screen
for the intake.
Yeah. There's a screen in the hose, halfway through the hose, and then there's also a screen on the vent on the tank. So everything is screened.
The seat is pretty sealed with a rubber.
It has a rubber gasket, so it shouldn't be that either. Yeah. But they are appearing sometimes.
Yeah. Mostly when it's close to time to change it anyway.
Yeah, it's like if it's left for a month, then we'll start to see some of them appear. But if we are really proactive and we are turning the crank even more often than we have to, like a couple times throughout the day, just to get everything aerated and dried out, then it seems to be fine. And we've had some just really easy experiences.
I guess the name of the game with the airhead or any composting toilet is to keep the solids tank dry and the liquid tank wet. It's to keep it separated.
Gotta keep it separated. Another thing, we think we need to pitch the toilet forward a little bit. I think we need to install just a little slight riser with the slope, because we are wondering if a little bit of pee is going into the solids tank, because it does tend to get wet. It's like the cocoa brick can't keep up with the amount of moisture that's getting in there, but I think there was one time in the winter that it was so much moisture, and we checked the hoses because we were thinking, okay, water must be getting in here from outside, because it was raining the whole time, as it does. And it wasn't rain. And I've even done a little test where we've cleaned the thing out, new cocoa brick in the solids tank. And what I would do is I put a piece of paper.
Yeah, we put a tissue paper or a filter inside the solid tank. And we would go about using it. And we noticed that some liquid was going into the solids tank.
Yeah, so there is like a natural slope. Except that I think once it gets past the slope, it maybe
could be
trickles back slightly,
because the west sail does start to slope up, to shear up into the at the bow.
Yeah.
Yes. The deck is sloped up a little bit, so it's on an angle. So the liquids haven't been all going down into the liquid tank. They've been seeping into the solids tank, which is not what you want. You don't want any liquids, or as little liquid as possible, going into the solids tank. So we are going to build a riser in the head so that it sits a little like on a forward angle like this. So everything goes forward into the liquids tank.
So that's one thing that we have to address. But I find if we're really proactive and change it every
2 or 3 weeks.
2 or 3 weeks, yeah. I find 2 weeks is almost not even long enough. But
I know, but
3 weeks is good.
2 weeks it would just make it easier, less messy to change, and just make it, easier to do.
Yeah. But we've had many months that it's absolutely successful. The matter is very dry, and it's a breeze to empty. But then we did have that one time in in, I think it was January, February in Vancouver, and it was just wet and swampy.
Yeah.
And that's not how you want it.
The composting toilet, because we're living aboard and always using it, it's never fully composted. You don't throw this in your garden to plant your tomatoes or anything like that.
You could eventually. We were actually thinking of getting 2 solids tank as well. And I think, especially also in warmer climates.
It'll compost faster. And it comes we do have a lid for it, so you could seal it up, and then you're supposed to crank the agitator every so often just to keep it going, and it will compost and become compost. But because we're living aboard and we only have 1 solid tank, we just it doesn't have the time to compost fully.
Yeah, but it would.
Yeah.
We know it.
Yeah. But overall, we really enjoy the way the system is designed, and the benefits over having a holding tank. We really are happy with the composting toilet.
Yeah, I think overall it's a simpler solution. I mean, the amount of other boat owners we've talked to about their holding tanks, and our own experience with the holding tank and all the plumbing and the connections and just this sort of stench that permeates everything, even when the holding tank is empty. It's just a bit of a nightmare.
Yeah, and then the number of boat owners that we know that have a composting toilet, whether it's Nature's Head, Airhead, or Seahead, absolutely love them, and we're one of them. So that's just our 2 cents.
Yeah. So overall, great choice. We're really happy, even as 2 full-time liveaboards using it almost all the time. Just needs a little bit of quirks ironed out and maintenance.
Yeah,
and we're good to go.
As everything does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As everything on the boat needs.
Yeah. So that's the dirt on the Airhead. Poo.
Oh yeah, I was gonna do the first part. I was like, can I do that?
Previously through the Portlight. You don't like that one?
Oh, I do. But I just wanted to say,
oh, okay.
We're gonna talk about poo.
Sure.
Today we're going to talk about poo. Today we're going to discuss poo. Today we're going to talk about poo.
Yeah.
Open it less this time.
Okay. Previous. Hold on. Okay.
Today we're going to talk about poo. Today we're going to talk about poo. Welcome to Through the Portlight. Today we're going to talk about poo.
That's good. We've got something there.